The act of broadcasting a football game should be a pretty simple thing. Point the camera at the pitch and show us where the ball goes over the course of 90 minutes plus change. So why does it feel like the very act of watching a game of football on TV is a less enjoyable experience than it's ever been, with the censorship and obfuscation of events on the pitch, an inability to show all of the action, and the ever-creeping spectre of ads, ads, ads? There's a very strong chance with recent news that it's going to get even worse in less than a year's time.
You know what it is when I throw it, you go.
This has been an issue that's been frustrating me for a long time now, but the breaking point was watching PSG versus Bayern Munich in the Champions League this year and having to wait until half-time before seeing one solitary blurry replay of a pivotal handball call on Nuno Mendes which could have turned the tie on its head. The most confusing part is that I can't even understand what the end goal is. It's not the NFL, where they have a vested interest in making sure that the suburban mum is going to allow little Timmy to get 18 concussions before he turns 18 in order to ensure the future of their player base. My best guess is that it's some kind of an attempt to protect referees from criticism and to control the narrative around the game to the best of their ability. But there are times where the referee or VAR has made a great call where they do the exact same thing, like the call to overturn a penalty given to Arsenal in the corresponding semi-final, where the stonewall angle, which they presumably must have had to overturn the penalty on VAR, just wasn't shown on TV. Instead, you have to find it by scrounging around on social media the day after. And the fans don't simply forget about the calls that went wrong against them just because they don't show a replay. If anything, it feeds into the nonsensical conspiracy rumours where every team's fan base believes that the referees are gathering in shady, smoke-filled rooms to make sure that Fulham finish 10th instead of 8th, leading to more abuse sent towards officials, teams and players than if they were just transparent about it. This is the kind of thing that I've noticed has always been worse for the Champions League, but it's been slowly creeping its way into Premier League coverage as time goes on. I can't count the amount of times this season that they haven't shown a replay of a potentially crucial foul that broke up a counter-attack or a close offside, and what really concerns me is a press release where they announced that they would be taking control of the production and distribution of all content for overseas audiences starting in the 26-27 season, with the absolutely killer line that they are doing this to have
stronger control over content addressing new audiences.
Now, most of the admittedly limited talk I saw about this was about a potential future move towards some kind of direct streaming service, but to me, the far likelier outcome is an even tighter organisational control over what is and is not shown on our screens during each and every Premier League game going forward. At least them not showing replays, for whatever reason, means that we'll get to see everything as it happens live, right? Right? How often do you remember seeing some absolute guff on your screen this season before hearing the rising, excited voice of the commentator as we, the viewers, missed the quick break that's led to a dangerous attack? I at least understood the logic behind the TV director every World Cup picking out the competitors for the lovely girls competition from the South American or Scandinavian team in question for the well-read page 3 aficionados of the great British public. But these days, now that the country has gone woke and you can get arrested for saying that you're straight or British, we're instead subject to the joys of 50-year-old man drinking out of a water bottle, 50-year-old man begging for a sweaty football shirt, and 50 shots of a 50-year-old man who supports Manchester City and was in a band 50 years ago. The internet seems to have made the preservation of media all the rage recently. Football is an absolutely awful sport for doing the basics on this front, and any fan attempts to document it are ruined every time a moment is missed in this fashion. Instead, the annals of history are blessed with another valuable slow-motion shot of a disembodied foot kicking a ball with blades of grass flying, or Cole Palmer raising awareness for the pensioners who won't be able to heat their homes this winter due to years of austerity politics. I could accept that my last 2 points might have been a little bit of an old man yelling at the Clyde situation, but I challenge you to find me one man who can't contain his joy when Fletch interrupts his dear friend Ali, turns on his somber, serious voice, and announces to the world that Euphoria is streaming now, all seasons available on demand on HBO Max. Wasn't it bad enough that they'd already stuffed advertising into absolutely every space it could fit? The mascots, the added time, the man of the match, the horrendous double-decker advertising boards at Man City, the training tops, or the halftime analysis in the studio. Something which makes me feel ancient for even remembering a time when they actually talked about the match for like 10 minutes at halftime, rather than the current 2 minutes if you're lucky setup. With the World Cup ushering in mandatory drinks breaks, I'm not too optimistic about the outlook of those 180 extra seconds, where we'll probably get the worst adverts you've ever seen in your life for Coke and McDonald's being smashed into your face just as the game's getting good. On the bright side, at least I can go put on the kettle.